Hey, what is up guys, Jumbo here and welcome to this video. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today we're going to be specifically looking at defending of a pro player, Oli Lito. This guy has won tournaments against other pros. He's a top player. He's hit 30-0 this week and we're going to be specifically looking at how he defends. If you do enjoy this type of video guys, a like rating is very much appreciated. If you haven't already, do not forget to subscribe. We are uploading videos every single day helping you guys improve at FIFA, so make sure you get involved. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some gameplay. I'm going to try and advise you guys on what to do, what Oli's doing well, maybe perhaps what the attacker could have done a little bit differently as well, but let's get into the clips. Okay, so this is clip number 1. This is just after Oli Lito has scored a goal and his opponent does have kickoff. So what you're going to see here is Oli's running back with his striker and he manually dragged Hullet back there. He's got control of his centre mid at the moment and you'll see that he's not rushing players out of position too much. He only rushes out when the opportunity is there to win the ball. Gets unlucky to concede a free kick, but again, he's running Hullet back. He's trying to cover the centre of the pitch so that there's no easy options. Does dive in for the tackle there, wins the ball, and now he looks to counter-attack. So in this clip here, his opponent has the ball out wide, and as you can see, what Oli's done is he's manually switched to his centre-back to cover this option here. The most likely thing his opponent can do in this situation is try and pass the ball down to this guy. The only other option is to keep running, in which case Oli will switch to his fullback and then manually mark it as he does here. He chases the guy down the line. He's going to switch again. This is just about trying to cover these central areas. So you don't want the ball to go to this guy. You don't want the ball to go to this guy. So what he's doing right now is he's covering this player here, so that he can't get the ball in there, because he knows that if the pass does get played to this guy, then he does have defenders back here. So that is his thought process right there. So the guy is going to play the ball in nice and steady, not dragging too many players out needlessly. His opponent does well there, but he does cover the pass across, and now he'll look to counter-attack. So this is another situation where the opponent has the ball on the wing, and what he's trying to do is he's switching look and covering these central areas. Right now he's doing something that's very important that you guys should know. He's got control of his fullback and he's manually running him back to cover the run of this attacker here. Very important, because if you don't do that, this player is just going to stand still and then this player here is just going to be able to run in free. So he's manually covering that run, and now he's going to quickly switch to cover these central areas again. What he's going to do is he's going to offside trap there. This is just pushing his team up a little bit so that he's not sat too deep to allow easy passes on the edge of the box. He's just stepping off, jockeying. When the time's right, he can step in for the tackle, and now again he can play his way out of trouble, but it's just patient defending at the moment. So another example here of controlling the fullback. His opponent has the ball with his fullback and Oli has got control of this guy, just making sure that this winger can't get through. What he's going to do now is try and switch to be a bit more aggressive, gets unlucky there, and now again he's covering these central areas. Got control of this defender to stop the pass going to the striker, and he's trying to force his opponent into just, you know, playing a pass that he already has marked. His opponent doesn't really have a lot on here. Bit of a dodgy slide tackle from Oli, I'm sure he'll agree himself, but what he's doing is he's just standing and jockeying with his defenders, making sure that he isn't pulling players out. It's his opponent that's going to make the mistake. So his opponent tries to dribble into the box, Oli stands his ground and tackles, and he does win the ball back. I think this clip here is very good, and it's important to see that you don't always have to be pressing and actively running towards the ball to try and win it back. Sometimes you do have to be patient. So as you will see here, he does go for the ball, doesn't win it back straight away, goes in again for a little bite but doesn't win it, and then he's backing off of his players. Again, he's almost inviting his opponent in, trying to force him into a mistake. So right now, he's got control of his centre-back. He's just going to make sure that his opponent can't get that through ball in behind into this sort of area here. He's covering that there with Varane. So his opponent doesn't really have a lot on. By the time he's able to play the pass, you know, the ball's gone well out wide. The reason that the pass has gone out there is because obviously Ollie was covering with his centre-back. So we'll play this again for you and I'll show you it in full. So he gets the ball in a dangerous position, his opponent, and what Ollie's doing here is he's covering this exact passing lane here. If his opponent plays this in, Mbappe has a chance of getting in on goal. Because Ollie marks that area, the pass goes, you know, instead of towards the goal, the pass ends up having to go out here, which is obviously a lot less dangerous. So by the time the ball gets out there, his opponent can't do a lot. And what you see there is he manually switches. So we'll let it all play out in one sequence again. Plays the ball in. This is a dangerous position right here, because if the opponent plays a pass, you know, to one of these guys somehow, he's got an open net, the keeper's out. What Ollie does is he switches to this player here, because he knows that this pass is going to be coming through to try and, you know, get an open net with one of these guys. So he's manually switched, covered it, he'll be jockeying as well, intercepts the pass and plays his way out. Here's another situation of his opponent on the wing, and you've got to be really careful in these situations. If he gets this through ball in behind here, it could be very, very dangerous. So Ollie's got to be sure that he's prepared to cut it out. He does dribble round him, but what you see there is Ollie switches early enough to this player here that he can start getting up towards the path of the ball. So what you're going to find is when Mbappe takes the touch, it's a heavy touch and Ollie is able to just step in with the defender and win the ball back easily. What we have here is an example of pressing. So his opponent tries to go onto the attack. What Ollie does is he's been very aggressive there and he's dragged his centre-back all the way out. It's forced Mbappe into a bad pass, and that means that he's going to be able to switch to Mendy, intercept the ball, and that's very good aggressive defending. In the right areas, you can press and be aggressive. It's when knowing, you know, when to press and when to stand off. What we have here is a clip where the opponent is in a very, very dangerous area, and he's going to get himself into what I like to call the danger zone. So this sort of area here, it's extremely dangerous. If your opponent plays the ball into their striker, any of these guys, you're in a little bit of trouble. They're going to have a lot of options. What Ollie's doing is he's controlling his centre-back, jockeying, and right here, look, he's trying to block off that pass. He knows that Mbappe isn't going to be able to keep running here. If he does, he's just going to switch to Mendy or track back with Varane, and he's going to be able to get it. What Ollie's doing here is he's covering this pass up in this direction, knowing that his opponent may try and play that. So his opponent does a nice little skill. Again, what you're seeing is Ollie switched very briefly to this player here, just to get him in the way of that passing lane again. And now what he's done is he switched to Varane, just in case his opponent turns to try and shoot. So it's very quick player switching, and then eventually he's able to step in and intercept the pass with Semedo. But little micro movements and player switching are what separates the very best players. So we'll have a little look at this in full so you guys can see it in its full action. Very quick, little switches, look, moving his players, and then he does step in and get the ball. So this is one where his opponent is on a little bit of a counter-attack here. He's manually running his fullback again. That's very important. If he switches off this player here, he is going to stop running, and his opponent's going to have an easy down-the-line pass to this player here, and that would not be ideal. So Ollie's covered that. What he's doing now is he's covering the run of the striker again. He knows that if he takes a heavy touch, he's going to be able to step in with this player. He'll be jockeying as well, which is obviously L2 or LT depending on your console. Running fake shot, he knows that's coming. At this point, when you're side by side, you can just press the tackle button and he's going to simply win the ball back once again. This is some very high level defending right here, guys. As you can see, his opponent is out wide again. He gets the ball into what we've been calling the danger zone, and it is very hard to mark these sorts of situations, especially when they have a 4 or 5 star weak foot player where they can go either way. So in this position here, it's very dangerous. He turns, tries to play the ball into his striker. What Ollie does is he switches ever so quickly. It's what we said earlier, these little micro movement and player switching, very, very important. So he covers this shot here. His opponent plays a great pass, and now it's up to Ollie to switch as quickly as he can to mark this guy in here. That is exactly what he does. He switches quickly and gets the tackle off. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope this provided you some sort of in-depth, you know, on how a top player does defend and their thought process. If you did enjoy the video, a like rating is very much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.